Today we have quite a few news for you. Thank you for coming back. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Every week we bring you the best of roofing news in the industry. Today, a contractor is losing thousands of dollars and he can't keep employees on payroll. He is blaming one of the biggest insurance companies in America. A roofer in Oklahoma is blowing the whistle on State Farm. He said in the past 2 years, there has been a major spike in denied and underpaid claims, even on clear-cut storm damage. State officials agree with him, but so far, nothing has changed. Let's react to it.
Jonathan Spires owns the Tulsa roofing company, IT Roof Tech.
A homeowner calls you and they say what?
Hey, we had a storm come through. Can you come take a look at my roof?
They want you to come check to see if they have hail damage?
Correct.
Whenever we zoom in at 500 times...
He says with his high-tech equipment, it's easy to see.
I like the high-tech equipment. That's impressive so far.
He says the past 2 years, one company has caused him the most headaches, State Farm.
Of all the homeowners, how many of them would you say have State Farm coverage?
That's a huge piece of the pie, so the majority of all of our customers are State Farm.
Jonathan said last year he had trouble with State Farm flat out denying claims.
Completely ripped off the back half of the roof. All of the shingles were gone, denied the claim. This man's 90 years old, not able-bodied. I've been with y'all since 1958, declined the claim, and this is a slam dunk. I've got the...
I don't think State Farm at this point even cares about negative publicity. Something is happening with the State Farm. Stories like these are very, very common across the nation. We hear them from Dallas, Texas, Florida. I mean, you name it. Midwest, North, South. State Farm is going down as far as the reputation goes, but he's not the only one doing it. And I want to give you my take on it towards the end.
For instance,
So this is a good example.
Jonathan showed me the paperwork for a new roof he put on this year. Just the materials cost $16,000. State Farm initially only paid $11,000. Jonathan says State Farm will pay for basic materials like shingles. But here's the sticking point. He says they won't pay for the add-ons that are required by law to bring a new roof up to code.
While you're looking at the specifications, you're going to look for 3 words: recommended, required, or must. Recommended doesn't have to be there. You can't make insurance pay for it. Required and must has to be done.
You're not talking about upgrades that homeowners want. You're talking about
Required, yeah, these
items that have to be done.
that have to be done.
IT Roof Tech. Comment below what you guys think about the company name, IT Roof Tech. So he wants to position himself as this IT company, tech company, which is, I like. It's a good name. I think it's very catchy.
At this point, I'm not making statements. I'm asking like legitimate questions.
Jonathan showed me an example of a claim to a different insurance company. The roof had additional cost because of required add-ons.
And they agreed and paid this claim very quickly.
Then he showed me a claim to State Farm, a roof with similar add-ons, but State Farm denied those add-ons.
Everything is the same code item-wise. This company's paying it. State Farm isn't paying for it. It's the same code.
This even happened.
I'll add even more to it. You can have 2 neighbors who will both have State Farm. Neighbor on the right might get approval and might get everything, in place and get full approval on all add-ons. And neighbor on the left, same neighborhood, same storm damage, and will be completely denied of anything, delay, deny. There's no rules here. You can't even compare anymore between insurance companies. Sometimes it's within same neighborhood and the same company, but different agents, different adjusters. Who knows what's going on the back end?
With Jonathan's personal claim on his own house.
Your own roof where you live.
Correct.
And you had State Farm as a...
I have State Farm as well.
Jonathan isn't the only roofer complaining. This problem caught the attention of the Oklahoma Insurance Commissioner. In June, he sent this special notice to all insurers licensed in Oklahoma. It calls out some insurers for underpaying claims and says additional coverage for increased costs due to building code-related items should be applied. Jonathan says he repeatedly sends emails to State Farm asking them to pay for the coded add-ons.
We've been emailing for months. We've been completely silent. Snail mail, we got a return letter. They wouldn't even sign for it. They would do nothing. No communication whatsoever for months.
He even attaches the insurance commissioner's special notice to the emails.
It's not favorable to anybody. It's a joke. You have a piece of paper that means nothing.
I find the insurance coverage for Oklahoma homeowners to be out of out of balance. It's egregious.
I asked Attorney General Gettner Drummond about this.
So they've doubled the burden on the homeowner and the roofer. The roofing companies that go in and do good work for Oklahomans are not being fully remunerated by the insurance companies, who are using the excuse of nuances in their contract with the homeowner. And that's simply wrong.
Drummond says his office opened an investigation into this problem.
The insurance companies need to be held accountable. I'm committed to that.
I asked State Farm about roofing.
I've committed to that. So for many, many years, insurance companies have been lobbying what's good for their interest. They're pretty much governance, and they have major influence in states like Illinois. I mean, we've been seeing scandals where, there's bribery. There's, they literally support local mayors and local people in the government. Like, I mean, I'm not accusing that would be happening in Oklahoma, but in my opinion, insurance companies got so big that it just stopped caring about who's going to make them accountable.
Companies' complaints. State Farm said this in a statement. State Farm is committed to paying what we owe promptly, courteously, and efficiently. With every claim, we seek to provide our customers all benefits to which they are entitled within the terms of the insurance policy. We work with each customer on their claim to understand the facts of their loss, identify the damages and applicable coverage, and ultimately resolve their claim.
Well, I want to address this clip and this story and this guy. I think we have kind of two problems here. One is a business model problem. If that's you, if you are in a roofing business and you choose every day just to go out and deal with an insurance company, that's going to be your story. There's just no way out of it. Maybe you need a career change. If you really want to fight State Farm, become a lawyer. We recommend Chad Wilson, for example, and Chad Wilson law firm out of Texas. They beat State Farm in courts all the time. Chad Wilson decided to take that burden on him. So maybe you should not be a roofer. Maybe you should become a public adjuster or attorney and do it. Because if you decide to be a roofer, this is not your fight to fight. I'm sorry. You're very limited. Yes, you can identify the damage. You can say that this is the damage and you should pay for it, but you don't know the policy. Yes, it's common sense to you. Yes, you are in the right, and they're in the wrong, but you're in the wrong type of business. That's why a lot of players in the roofing space today, big companies, they don't even do insurance claims. They do everything retail. They give homeowners prices. They don't want to even look at an insurance claim. This is the reason why. Your time is valuable. If you're not being compensated, you should not be doing it. Now, if you want to help people, maybe become a lawyer. Also, ask for help. Maybe you work with a lawyer, maybe you work with a public adjuster. Use all resources you have. And I know it's a hard business to be in, but unfortunately we're already outnumbered. They outpowered us, and you have to do what's good for the homeowner. How are you going to help the homeowner? Now, I also will say that this helps. Negative publicity truly helps. Insurance companies will only pay attention to us when it starts hurting them financially. When more and more people will stop buying that insurance, if State Farm loses 10,000 homeowners, 10,000 policies per year because of negative publicity, news, and coverages like this, then we're gonna start seeing a difference. They will pay attention, because unless now they're saving money by not paying claims, but when they're gonna start losing money because people are not signing up. The crazy part of this story is this guy does know that insurance is bad. What did he have on his house? That's right, State Farm. So he is feeding the beast. He has State Farm on his own house, for the past, 5-6 years, I think he said. So think about it. Like if I know the company is bad, stop spending money with that company. But we all feeding that beast. We buying that insurance on our own homes and then complaining that they're bad. Why would State Farm change what they're doing if everyone else around them keep using them? Maybe it's the cheapest insurance you can get. So in that matter, I would say shame on us to do what we've been doing. Like, why this guy has a State Farm on his house, just maybe the answer to this complaint. Because Yes, you can talk all you want, but we vote with our wallets. And also, if you're the contractor, speak up, get help. Tell the homeowner to hire a lawyer and go after it. That's the only time and that's the only way that insurance companies actually will start listening to us. So comment below what you think about the story, and I'll see you in the next one.